The Toronto Blue Jays are hiding something, and when opposing teams find out what Dylan Cease has been working on behind closed doors, they're going to lose their minds. While the baseball world has been obsessing over blockbuster trades and spring training storylines, one of the most exciting developments of the entire offseason has been flying completely under the radar. Dylan Cease, the Blue Jays ace who signed that massive contract extension to anchor this rotation for the next 5 years, isn't just showing up to spring training going through the motions. He's been secretly developing a devastating new weapon that could transform him from a very good pitcher into an absolutely elite, dominant force that keeps opposing managers up at night. And here's the thing that makes this story even more interesting. The Blue Jays didn't just luck into this development. They've created the perfect environment for Cease to unlock this next level of dominance. And when you connect all the dots, you realize this team might have pulled off something absolutely brilliant. Let me paint the picture for you. Kevin Gausman, one of the most respected pitchers in the Blue Jays clubhouse, was watching Dylan Cease throw a bullpen session the other day, and what he witnessed left him genuinely shocked. Gausman said something that should send chills down the spine of every American League hitter. He said you just don't see the ball coming out of Cease's hand. The ball hides behind his back and then actually comes from right behind his head, creating a whole other element that Gausman didn't expect. And this is coming from a guy who's been around elite pitching his entire career. When Kevin Gausman is impressed, you know something special is happening. But that deception, that natural ability to hide the baseball, is only part of the story. The real bombshell dropped when insider Keegan Matheson revealed what Cease has actually been working on. Dylan Cease is adding a changeup to his arsenal this spring. Now, if you're a casual fan, you might be thinking, okay, so what? Lots of pitchers throw changeups. But if you understand the game at a deeper level, if you understand what Dylan Cease has been as a pitcher throughout his career, and what he could become with a legitimate changeup in his repertoire, you realize this is absolutely massive news. Here's why this matters so much. Throughout his career, Dylan Cease has been a pitcher who relies heavily on his four-seam fastball, his slider, and his curveball. He's barely thrown a changeup at all. We're talking about 1% usage. 1%. It's essentially been a non-existent pitch for him. And even without that weapon, he's been one of the most talented pitchers in baseball. He won a Cy Young Award with the White Sox. He's struck out batters at an elite rate. Last season alone, he finished 6th in the entire major leagues in strikeouts. 6th. That's not luck. That's elite stuff. But here's where the story gets really interesting. Despite all that talent, despite all those strikeouts, Cease has had one glaring weakness that's prevented him from reaching that truly elite ace of aces level. He struggles against left-handed hitters, and he knows it. In fact, when he talked about adding the changeup, he specifically mentioned that it will help him against lefties. That self-awareness, that willingness to acknowledge a weakness and attack it head-on, that's what separates good pitchers from great ones. Think about what Cease already brings to the table. His fastball shape and command are things he's actively working on. He's been training at the player development complex for over 2 weeks, grinding every single day to refine his craft. His main goal, the thing he keeps coming back to over and over again, is consistency. He mentioned it repeatedly. Consistency, consistency, consistency. That's what he's chasing. And if you look at his advanced analytics, they all point to a pitcher who should be absolutely dominant. His expected statistics have always been better than his actual results. The underlying metrics love Dylan Cease. He just needs to put it all together. Last season, Cease put up a 4.55 ERA. That's not terrible, but it's not ace level either. But when you dig deeper into the numbers, you see the potential. His strikeout rate was in the 99th percentile. That means he was better at striking out hitters than 99% of pitchers in baseball. But he also walked batters at an alarming rate, finishing in the 98th percentile for walks, which means he gave up the 7th most free passes in the entire league. That's the consistency issue he's talking about. When he's on, he's virtually unhittable. When he's not, he's handing out walks like candy on Halloween. But here's where the Blue Jays might have accidentally created the perfect storm for Dylan Cease to figure all of this out. Remember who else is on this team? Shane Bieber. And Shane Bieber just happens to have one of the best changeups we've seen from a right-handed pitcher in the last decade. Maybe 2 decades. Let that sink in for a second. Dylan Cease is trying to develop a changeup, and sitting right there in the same clubhouse, rehabbing from Tommy John surgery, is a guy who can show him exactly how to throw one of the most devastating changeups in modern baseball. Shane Bieber recently spoke about his decision to return to Toronto, and he made it clear he wanted to be here. His family wanted to be here, and while he's still working his way back from surgery, still playing catch and progressing through his rehab, he's around the team, he's in the facility. And you can bet that Dylan Cease is picking his brain about that changeup. These are 2 right-handed pitchers who can work together, share ideas, and help each other unlock new levels of dominance. The Blue Jays didn't plan for this to happen, but sometimes the baseball gods just smile on you. Imagine for a second what Dylan Cease could become if he adds a legitimate Shane Bieber quality changeup to his arsenal. You'd have a pitcher with a fastball that hitters literally cannot see out of his hand, a slider that's already one of his best weapons, a curveball to keep hitters honest, and now a changeup that can completely neutralize left-handed batters. That's 4 legitimate pitches, each one capable of putting hitters away. That's not just an ace, that's a Cy Young caliber pitcher. That's a guy who can dominate playoff series and carry a team deep into October. And the timing of this couldn't be better for the Blue Jays. Dylan Cease is locked up for the next 5 years. He's going to be the leader of this rotation, the guy they lean on when the games matter most. He's projected to make the most starts on the team alongside Kevin Gausman. He's going to eat innings, strike out batters, and now, potentially, shut down left-handed hitters in a way he never has before. The rotation is going to feature Cease, Gausman, Trey Savage, Cody Poteet, and eventually Shane Bieber when he's fully healthy. That's a rotation that can compete with anyone in the American League. But beyond just the technical aspects of adding a changeup, there's something else happening here that people aren't talking about enough. Dylan Cease seems locked in mentally. He's talking about consistency. He's putting in the work at the training complex. He's seeking out ways to improve. This isn't a guy who signed a big contract and is now coasting. This is a competitor who knows he hasn't reached his ceiling yet and is determined to get there. The Blue Jays are banking on this version of Dylan Cease showing up in 2026 and beyond. And if he does, if he adds that changeup and finds the consistency he's looking for, the rest of the American League is in serious trouble. Opposing teams are already worried about facing this Blue Jays lineup. Now they're going to have to worry about a rotation that features a transformed, more complete Dylan Cease. And speaking of the Blue Jays' mindset heading into this season, manager John Schneider dropped some comments that should have every fan fired up. Schneider told his team in no uncertain terms that they're not defending anything. They're not defending the American League East title. They're not defending the American League pennant. They're attacking 2026 like they attacked 2025. They're trying to win the division. They're trying to win the World Series. Period. That message is so important, and it shows real growth from Schneider as a manager. He's been through the ups and downs. He's made mistakes. He's learned from them. And now he understands that you can't rest on what you accomplished last year. Celebrating an American League championship is fine for marketing and merchandise, but when it comes to actually winning baseball games, everyone starts at 0 wins. The goal isn't to defend a title. The goal is to go out and earn a new one. Insider Keegan Matheson called this the most important thing Schneider will say all spring, and he's absolutely right. The Blue Jays need to maintain momentum. They need to build on what they accomplished rather than getting complacent. And from everything we're hearing out of camp, that's exactly the mentality this team has. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. even came out and said he's happier this year than he was last year. He's excited about the new players the team acquired. He thinks this year is going to be more fun. And when your superstar, the face of the franchise who just signed a 15-year contract, is talking like that, it sets the tone for the entire clubhouse. The vibes around this team are at an all-time high, and that matters more than people think. Last year, Vladdy was dealing with contract distractions. Every day there were questions about his future. Now he's locked in for the next decade and a half of his life. He can just focus on playing baseball and enjoying the game. And if Vladdy's locked in, and Dylan Cease is developing a changeup, and Shane Bieber is rehabbing and getting ready to contribute, and Ricky Tiedemann is taking the mound in spring training looking healthy, suddenly this team has a lot of reasons to be optimistic. The Blue Jays aren't just hoping to be good in 2026, they're actively building something special. And Dylan Cease's decision to add a changeup to his arsenal might end up being one of the most underrated storylines of the entire season. When he starts carving up left-handed hitters with a pitch they've never had to worry about before, when he's putting up Cy Young caliber numbers because he found that consistency he's been searching for, people are going to look back at this moment and realize we should have been paying more attention. The Major League Baseball world better take notice, because Dylan Cease isn't just showing up to spring training. He's showing up with a plan, with a purpose, and with a new weapon that could make him one of the most dominant pitchers in baseball. And when you combine that with a clubhouse full of talent, a manager who's delivering the right message, and a franchise that's all in on winning right now, you've got the makings of something special brewing in Toronto. So while everyone else is sleeping on this story, while they're focused on other narratives and other teams, the Blue Jays are quietly putting together all the pieces they need to make a serious run. And Dylan Cease's changeup might just be the secret ingredient that puts them over the top. What do you think? Are you as excited about Dylan Cease's development as we are? Can this changeup transform him into a legitimate Cy Young candidate? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay locked in on all the latest Blue Jays news, all the spring training updates, and all the insider information you won't find anywhere else, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. We've got exclusive content coming your way, including a special video with a Blue Jays insider that you're not going to want to miss. Let's go Blue Jays, and let's get ready for what could be an absolutely incredible season.